And he made out of one man every nation of men to dwell upon the entire surface of the earth. And he decreed the appointed times, and he set the limits of the dwelling of men. That's Acts 17:26. Again, and he made out of one man every nation of men to dwell upon the entire surface of the earth, and he decreed the appointed times and the set limits of the dwelling of men. Follow that up with Colossians 3:21. You fathers, do not be exasperating your children, so that they do not become downhearted. What do these two scriptures have in common? Well, there's a connection. It has to do with parenting and heritage and phenotype, what we accept and what we reject. Sometimes in the animal kingdom, the animals actually reject their offspring that looks different. Lions do that. If a lion gives birth to a white lion, and they're very rare, they're not treated the same way. They're treated worse or sometimes abandoned at infancy. They stand out too much and they're hunted. If it were a black lion, which is even rarer, but I hear they do exist, I don't know if they still exist, that also stands out. The brown lions tend to blend better with the general surroundings. And so they tend to get rid of the extreme one way or the other. And with even, say, the canine world, they will do the same thing. The feline world, I don't know of, because I've seen that done with canines, and they call that the runt of the litter. And they put that one to the side because they don't think it's going to survive. With human beings, we do the same thing. And it usually has to do with phenotype and colorism, not the rate of survival. Oftentimes, it's simply how the child looks, and we do that within our own households sometimes with all of our children with various complexions. Can you imagine if the child was of different phenotype, and that happens too, and we tend to either favor or disfavor that child? Can you imagine that maybe Ham had a child called Canaan that had a different phenotype from the rest? And perhaps that's why he favored him and did not correct him. Now, if you're a parent and you have children, and just because of their phenotype, one is favored more than the other, or one is totally disregarded for some reason. I've seen parents do that. I've heard some people tell me their stories, how it was done to them, and they can't help themselves that they're doing it to their children, and because her parents did it to her, and so she does it to her children. And that's a real feeble excuse, but it keeps reoccurring because of practice. Here it says that you fathers should not do what? Exasperate your children, so they do not become downhearted. And a child who is not favored can become downhearted because they have the same parents, they just look differently. And so they're treated differently. And sometimes it's with favor and sometimes it's not. It's as if the child has been abandoned. So within our own families, we can promote racism, colorism, because of atavism, because of throwback atavism, having a child that doesn't look like the parents, the grandparents, the great-grandparents, the generation before that. And so with that, for some reason, it reoccurs. It's called atavism. But they usually say that when it's a black family giving birth to a white child. No, they usually say it's when a white family gives birth to a black child, but it happens in both areas. Atavism. Why? Because Jehovah God made from one man all nations of men, and we've manipulated that and cannot accept the color difference in phenotypes.